Metro Exodus. Now, is it worth separating from your hard-earned cash to pick up this game? To work this out and make it quick, concise, and more importantly let you make your own opinion of this, we're going to have a look at the last two Metro games to start with. Now, both of these games kept you on this very linear path, going through tunnels, finding items, but more importantly holding your hand through the experience. Characters would explain the Metro system as you travel through it, and there was also these moments where it was silent, it was very tense, and at any moment a beast of the Metro system could jump out at you. Now let's compare that to Metro Exodus. At first, we are dipped into the Metro system and we are given that Metro feeling that we all love. And then we're sucked out of that system and taken to these various sandbox environments. But they know, the developers know that we're going to be missing the Metro system, so they make sure to throw bunker after bunker at us. So we're back in these dark, creepy areas, very narrow, and more importantly we are guided by NPCs through these sections. So it's a good mix of both linear and these sandbox environments. Even though we're in these sandbox environments though, we are precisely guided, and what's even better about it, we don't have to go far out of our way to encounter these very interesting characters, cool side quests, or even just cool locations to explore that outside the main storyline. Now, to create this really exciting travelling feeling, they changed the environments up a lot. From the swamps of the Volga that honestly reminded me of Stalker, the clear skies starting area, very exciting, very cool to explore, to places that are a little less interesting, such as the Caspian. That was just a desert. There was still loads of things to explore, but it just didn't have that same Metro vibe that the other locations did. It was just, how to say, a little bit dry, no pun intended. Now, for any good single player game you need good characters, and Metro doesn't disappoint. And to build good characters you need them to release information to you over time, but more importantly in a way that's kind of applicable to the situation. Whereas other games, they just tell you their life story and you're just kind of like, I didn't really need to know that. You grow no attachment to them. Where in this, they leak information over time. You find cool facts about Anna, or even in one case, the most fascinating character who's leaked the most information to me was someone that was working at the US Embassy as a Marine before the war broke out, and Miller managed to save him. But I don't really want to go too much into that. You'll find more about that as you go, but you can see I'm starting to gain more interest into each individual member of the crew, so the characters really do draw you into your experience further. Now let's talk weapons, suits and gear. Some of the most important things that we'll have in Metro. These are things we're going to have on us at all times, and more importantly the weapon's going to be in the center of our screen as we're running through these different environments. As we know in Metro, lots of the weapons tend to be these cool handcrafted, or maybe an old service weapon that's seen long past its expiration date and people have continued modifying it so it can continue to live on. And the weapons themselves, some you'll recognize, some you don't ever understand what the hell it is or why you would need that many barrels, but still it's very cool indeed. And it's all based around this simple system. You have 3 weapon slots. You have 2 primary weapons that use standard sort of ammunition, and you have a third that uses craftable ammunition. So even if you do run out of ammunition, your gun goes click on that beast charging towards you, you can always switch to one of these craftable weapons, and if you've crafted, if you've got enough resources collected, you can always get extra ammunition on your go, and you will find yourself falling back on these, and I think this system is really exceptional. Now moving on to the attachments. The attachment system is extremely vast. It turns one weapon into 7. If you want a CQB short range assault rifle, stick the suppressor on. If you want a long range DMR, stick the long barrel, add a scope, and you can really adapt it to the scenario, and you don't find yourself like in the old Metro games going in with the wrong weapon at the wrong time that you absolutely love. Now the final thing is the suit. The suit complements the weapons extremely well and your playstyle in total. You can customize the suit from having things like motion sensors that'll help you detect enemies within the midst of a sandstorm, to things like a compass that'll just get you to a location without bringing up your map every 30 seconds. And you can do this from the train, unlike the weapons that you can go and adjust on the fly. The final thing is you can adjust the helmet settings, so you can have reinforced armor, different components there, as well as vests, so you can carry more ammunition and supplies to complement if you like to throw weapons at people, have more throwing knives, or you just like to carry more ammunition in general. So very cool, very in-depth customization, but at the same time it's very simple and easy to understand, that I think is crucial. So let's talk about the enemies. Now there's two sorts, there's the monsters, the creatures, as well as the humans. Now the humans themselves, when I've been playing it from a stealth perspective, they are extremely fascinating. They leak bits of information as you're sneaking around camps and whatnot, and it's very fun. It feels like you're really doing a cool job sneaking around these bases, where if you go in guns blazing, you don't get the cool information, but you do get a really exciting firefight, depending on who you're fighting. If you're fighting the so-called crazy people, they tend to charge at you, where the thugs and bandits will sit back and then push into your position and even try to frag you out in some circumstances. Nothing super exceptional on the AI front, but it's enough to give you a bit of competition. Now over to the beasts, these tend to be a little bit, in my opinion, a waste of time when you come to fight them, purely because you don't want to waste ammunition on them, and they attack you in a big group, so you're going to just burn ammunition. So my recommendation, if you're confronting them, is just sneak past them or try to avoid them in total. Otherwise, you're going to be mashing that E button for your eternity. My E button nearly fell off at some point with the amount of hammer I was giving it to try to get out of these enemies' headlocks. Anyway, quite a good enemy AI overall. Now let's wrap this up. I've given you all the points to make your minds up, but here's some negative things. Now, number one, Artyom cannot walk downstairs to save his life. The amount of times I found myself launching myself to the bottom of the staircase just by moving simply a little bit too fast. Maybe it's my fault, maybe I just can't handle staircases. At the bottom, I ended up as a crumpled bag of bones, and in Ranger mode this is really frustrating after engaging in a firefight and not having a checkpoint for the last 7 minutes to be killed by a staircase. Not what you need. Now the other thing that's a little bit of an inconvenience is having this game on the Epic Games Store. Now the last two I've got are on Steam, great, so if I ever come to do a replay of this, I'm going to have to reinstall the Epic Games Store and put this back on. I mean, I am going to uninstall it once I've completed it, it's just the nature of the beast. You uninstall it, you leave it off your computer for a few months, and then you come and put it back on and you play it again. But having the extra layer from the Epic Games Store might kind of deter me from doing that in the future. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I've given you something to bite your teeth into, kind of make your mind up if you're on the crossroads. But I'd like to hear your thoughts, your opinions about the game in the comment section below. And overall, it's a great game. Just a few things about it that are not quite perfect.